when I think about climate change, I mean, a lot of the work I do is on children's rights. And when I think of climate change, I would argue that it's probably the biggest children's rights crisis that we're facing right now. It's going to impact young people, especially. Obviously, it's impacting everyone now, but you think of young people, you think of the future. That's the world that we leave behind, right? So I think that the youth-led aspect of the project is really important, right? Because we really want to know what are the questions that young people even want to be asking, that they want to be thinking about. I think at the end of the day, climate change is going to impact everyone. And with mental health too, it's important for us to figure out what can we do to support young people so that they can learn to cope with the feelings that they have.
Oh, I think it's so important just because climate change is a very obvious concern, but there's a lot of facets to it that are misunderstood. Things such as anxiety, youth mental health, that's been a big focus for a lot of our students and for my research. So it's really important that we just start looking at how climate change affects not only sort of like the global scale, but individuals and how coping strategies and how all of that sort of comes together.
I feel the way climate change is portrayed in the media is really poor, and it's been very much like doomsday kind of approach, and I think that can potentially breed apathy or just fear, and without really like positive action. So I think the work we're doing is going to help gain a better understanding of like how people are feeling, so we know how to respond to that and to like implement those findings into what we want to use to reach out to people, especially like younger generation.
The topic of climate change is one of the main topic at the moment. So every person in world is exposed to this topic, to these contents, and this is particularly important for young people because in social media the aspect of climate change, the news are very, very frequent. So the aspect to which the impact that this exposition have to the young, it's very important. So I think it's very impactful for their life.
I think it's very important because our generation doesn't really talk about climate change because it's a little bit of a difficult topic. You don't hear about a lot since it's very out of our control, it feels like. So it's really important to give information that's positive as opposed to the typical negative lens that's seen in the media nowadays. So I think it's just really important to have that resource for our generation.
I think it's so important to the well-being and health of young people to understand how they feel about it now, to give a voice to what they're thinking and feeling, and of course what they're already doing as part of resilience and coping. There's a lot of agency. Children and young people, they have their own agency. They're already coping with things pretty well, but of course there are lots of challenges and some are not coping that well. So I think understanding that through this project is really important for the health of young people who are the future, who also then are the health of the families, which in turn builds community